Hi everyone, this is Claudia and this is my project one for social media policy. I interviewed a librarian social media manager for a university, so this was in an academic setting. So my first question was to find out whether or not they in fact had a social media policy. And yes, they did. She was nice enough to share with me the 6-page um, document that had the policy as well as the just very descriptive and clear guidelines. These guidelines were for the 3 social media sites: Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And so, what is the social media policy? Because it's a library, it very much mirrors their mission, um, which is to provide information and services, and as well as upholding the university's mission. Um, so it applies to the staff. They can't control what patrons or students may post on their personal accounts, but they do monitor and regulate the staff accounts with the university name that's attached. So, is staff encouraged to use social media? Definitely yes. The fact that they have this document with the policy and guidelines to me demonstrates how much they do encourage, because they do want to um, have a presence and promote the university and their departments, and particularly, the library and all it has to offer. So, what are any do's and don'ts? They they have suggestions for each of the social media sites. One example was how they list certain links that they suggest, as well as certain sites to stay away from. Um, there was a table of hashtags that they prefer for consistency across the board. So that was very clear, and I think it's a handy thing to have if you're managing if you're one to be managing these social media sites. And I did ask about their social media consent form, and it's not necessarily a form but a process. Any department or individual, such as a faculty or department head, who wants a page representing the university, a library, they have to present it to the marketing department, so it has to be approved. They have to present their intention, the content, the voice and tone, um, and upon approval, they have a meeting and they discuss the guidelines and they help them through the process as well as the maintenance of the page. And in my discussion with the librarian, we did um, bring up the point of the social media overlap, and I found this neat um, visual of that, because I asked this myself in my current position, where how do you manage both your professional and personal pages and how they can kind of overlap. And so she mentioned how, because of that and the boom of social media, they did have to sit down and create these guidelines to help that and to keep things professional and consistent, especially when you're representing an institution. So, anything that surprised me? Well, I'd have to say that one of the big things in their guidelines was how they really distinguished each social media, especially the frequency by which they would like whoever's managing the page to post. So, for example, Twitter, they would like it to be a daily post. They use Twitter for things that are happening in real time, so live, so in the moment. So that makes sense for them to expect a daily post. And for Instagram and Facebook, they state at least 3 times a week. Um, And also they have a time frame, so an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon, and an hour in the evening. And I think all this speaks to their priority of being consistent across the board. So it really struck me because I never really considered um, a suggested time to post, or the frequency of which how much you should be posting, because otherwise the page could be closed if it's not active. And they don't want a page that's just sitting there with no current or relevant content. So any recommendations to improve the social media policy? I guess my only recommendation would be is to have a visual of some sort. For example, screenshots of the examples in the guidelines. I did like how they had that table of the hashtags that they suggest that they be consistent with. But yeah, like a visual, like a screenshot. I'm used to seeing handouts with visuals, especially when it comes to technology, because it's one thing to read about it, but if you see exactly what it is they're talking about, then it makes more sense. Well, at least to me. Um, so yeah, this concludes my presentation of the interview. I hoped you learned something, because I certainly did. So thank you.